Are you bleeding blue? That's the question we've got right now. Time to talk a little St. Louis Blues. Time to talk a little hockey. Yes, in the midst of summer and everyone's hot, time to cool off and talk a little hockey. Welcome back into Sports Buzz. I'm Tyler Piper here on the PulseNetwork.com. And to talk about the St. Louis Blues and see who is exactly bleeding blue we have from BleedinBlue.com, we have got on Skype right now Jennifer Metzler. Jennifer, thanks so much for taking time out of the day. How's it going?
Pretty good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No, without a question. The first thing I got to ask you, where are you right now? I'm seeing, pennants in the background. Where exactly are you?
It is my room in my home in St. Louis. I've got all kinds of Cardinals stuff and Blues stuff, and I actually married a fan of the San Francisco Giants. He was from North California.
Oh, no.
So we have some Oakland stuff. We have some San Francisco stuff. We've got... I went to college at the University of Oklahoma, so we've got all kinds of stuff in this room. This is the sports room.
Oh, that is awesome indeed. Anytime you've got space to do that, that is pretty cool. So I commend you for that for sure. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about the Blues first and foremost. The one thing that I think a lot of people are kind of not realizing, myself included, the Blues, is this team, is it for sale right now? Are we looking at possibly getting some new owners?
Yes, the whole shebang is for sale. I believe it does include the Peoria Rivermen, the AHL feeder team for us.
Wow.
The actual arena, Scott Trade Center, is for sale, and the Blues are for sale.
Really? Now, something like this, this hasn't gotten very much publication other than you guys are really the only ones that seem to be talking about this. What's the reasoning for that? Are they trying to keep it hush-hush, or are they just haven't really found a buyer?
It's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
It's a big deal here, obviously, at home in St. Louis, and a few blogs have written about it. I think a lot of people aren't writing about it a lot because no one really knows, and we keep hearing different things, like what you just put up from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Dan O'Neill's been reporting on it from the Post, and Jeremy Rutherford's been reporting on it from the Post. Luke Horak over in Illinois has been talking about it. We keep hearing rumors about, it was really quiet for a while, and then a lot of heat and a lot of stuff kind of started picking up, and it all started going really fast. And now, we went from hearing nothing to hearing 3, 4, 5 people are interested in buying the team and buying everything. So, but no one really knows anything yet.
It seems like there's a lot of uncertainty there. Obviously surrounding not just the fans and the people that cover this, but the guys that do own it and the people that are trying to buy it right now. That's the thing that I find really interesting about it all is, we've seen some names kind of surface. Is it Holzer that we're seeing kind of surface just a little bit here?
Holsizer was that was a big rumor, right? That's kind of been the name that's been around the whole time. And like I said, that name has been thrown around the whole time. But again, it was never a big, it was never certain. And I think part of the reason why there is a lot of uncertainty is Dave Checketts is kind of, it's kind of been a problem with Checketts, and it's also been an issue with Checketts. I believe he's throwing money at or somehow involved with an NBA team. It's kind of convoluted, but it's been aggravating the teams a lot.
All right, so
and aggravating fans a lot.
You know what? I'm going to go right out and say this. I no longer want to talk about anything that is confusing because just trying to literally, we were researching this ourselves. We were saying, so this is just a giant tangled web. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't really point the finger and say, this is what's going to happen. You really have no clue. So let's get to the stuff that we do know. This is a team, let's talk about the team in general. This is a team last year that struggled at times. Obviously missing the playoffs. I want to say they were about 10 points back of the Blackhawks for that 10th spot, or that 8th spot. I think they came in 11th, was it last year? They needed to improve. They needed to beef up for sure. They needed more goals. They needed a little bit of everything, honestly. Talk about some of the acquisitions, some of the key moves that they made. The beginning of this offseason, we saw that this team didn't really sign anybody big, and then all of a sudden they came on like a house of fire, and they're starting signing guys left and right. Talk about some of these key acquisitions right now.
Obviously the two biggest acquisitions, in a lot of people's eyes, in my eyes for sure, is obviously Langenbrunner and Arnott. That those are huge. I wasn't expecting either one of those. I mean, Langenbrunner was kind of talked about a lot, and it was, I mean, again, kind of like the sale, there were a lot of rumors, and no one knew exactly what was going on. But that, I mean, that was huge. And then the Arnott news was a huge surprise. No one was expecting that. I mean, a lot of the people I talked to, no one was expecting that, nor were they expecting the news on the same day. So it was just like a mass. It was like Christmas. It was like you get that one big present at Christmas, and it was just, you know, it was awesome. And then, you know, you got, I mean, you can sit there and say smaller names or, you know, not big deals like Jonathan Chichu, getting Chichu and getting Scott Nickel and Ken Huskins.
Chichu was a great player, you know, several years ago. I remember when he was, you know, a 50-plus goal scorer.
Right. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, what's the point in getting Chichu? He's not going to ever do, you know, he's not ever going to have a 30-plus point season again. He was hot in the AHL, and he can't translate it back to the NHL. Whatever. I mean, it's one of those things where it's for us, you're going to take any chances you can, and it was a low-risk, possible high-reward situation. So why wouldn't you jump on it, you know? And with all the injuries we had last year, I mean, there were times where you wondered if Peoria even had enough guys to skate out on their team.
Yeah.
Because we kept calling them up. You know, it was the Peoria Highway all the time. So why not add depth for cheap? So, you know, Chichu, Huskins, and, you know, Nickel, Arnott, Langenbrunner, and the other argument is, oh, all these guys are older. Why are you going to sign all these older guys? Well, look at the age of the team, the average age of the team members before we got those guys during free agency. We were a young team, and having those vets is definitely going to help off and on the ice.
Yeah, oh, definitely will. So the other thing that I find interesting is, you know, they did make a couple of re-signs a little bit. Talk about Oshie and Reeves. Both of them, you know, up and for another year.
I have to be a little biased, I guess. I love Reeves.
Really? Okay.
He's awesome. I love Jansen. I really did, and it's really sad to see Jansen go. But I was really excited about Reeves getting a chance, because when he came up here, he showed that his skills could translate. I mean, he wasn't, you know, as hot in the NHL as he was in the AHL, but you could see everything. You could see the wheels moving, and there were a few private practices that I was fortunate enough to get invited to go to with the blog and everything, and it was neat seeing him in private practices compared to public practices, because in private practices, you would see him working one-on-one with like people like David Backus, one-on-one doing stuff, and like a lot of stuff that he needed help on was just fine-tuning everything, and like fine-tuning shooting, you know, or like aiming. He would be right close to the net, but he would never hit it. And I mean, when you could see him working with them one-on-one, you could see the fine-tuning taking place. So seeing him get that contract was really exciting for me. Oshie was an exciting one just because, I mean, he's a fan favorite. How can you not like Oshie? He's a great guy. He's a great player. He obviously bleeds and eats and sleeps and breathes hockey, you know. So having a guy like that come back is awesome. And I think the 1-year contract was fair considering some of the things that have happened, you know, like he missed a practice last year. It was unexcused, and it's no secret that he likes to party a little bit. So I think the 1-year contract is fair given his situations and some of the things that have happened, given his age and his skill level. You know, it's a contract that says, show me what you got, you know, and I think that's fair.
So looking at what you've got on paper right now, I mean, obviously there's still probably a couple more moves that could be made. Talk about on paper right now. How do you think this team stands? I mean, obviously the acquisition of Arnott was huge. I mean, I think that's definitely one of the biggest ones, because that's giving you, a veteran player that can really do everything on the ice, which is great. So talk about where this team stands in comparison to some of the competition out there. Where do you think? How does this really boost them up just a little bit? Obviously, you mentioned that youth. They've got the veterans now. So do you think this team will mesh? And really, where do you see this team standing as far as inside the conference, really, this upcoming season?
I think the team stacks up fairly well. Again, it's probably biased because I love my team.
We won't hold it against you. It's all right. We can give it to you.
I think they stack up very well, and I think I haven't. It kind of stinks because like there was no development camp, and I know that doesn't really have anything to do with the guys that we got and the team that we're putting on paper. But you know, you can kind of see how the coaches handle it and how stuff happens. I'm really excited. I think the team stacks up very well. I think we will be competitive. I'm a little nervous, just slightly nervous about our goaltending situation. I mean, we acquired Brian Elliott from Ottawa, and we also signed Ben Bishop from Peoria, our AHL team. Mm-hmm. And with Halak's injury to his hand last year, I think that's going to be a big deal, is goaltending. But everything else is just as big of a deal. I mean, everyone has to come together. I'm anxious to see how they mesh. I think it'll happen. And I think it'll happen pretty fast. I don't think it'll be a slow-moving train. I think with those veteran acquisitions and additions to the team, I think it'll kind of whip everyone into shape pretty fast. Again, like I said, I think we'll be competitive. I'm a little nervous about the Columbus Blue Jackets because that was kind of us against them this past season was ugly. Mm-hmm. And that's when TJ Oshie got injured. I mean, it ended up being a disgusting rivalry, and it's getting up there to Blackhawks and Detroit Red Wings hatred. So I mean, they make me nervous. Blackhawks kind of make me nervous, but not really. You know.
Well, obviously you're going to say you hate the Blackhawks.
I do, but I have to be fair, and I mean, I think. You know, I think we have a chance this year. I think we have a chance. I'm not going to say how far, but I really do think we have a chance to make the playoffs again this year.
Okay, well, here then. I'll put you on the spot then, because there was one post that really intrigued me here. You guys, it wasn't you. There was another post, but it said, you know, are the Blues next? You know, mm-hmm. You had the Rams, you had the Cardinals, and obviously we see the pennants and everything out back, and probably one of the coolest plaques ever. So, are the Blues next? Of these three teams, are they the next one?
Of the Rams and the Cardinals, are the Blues next?
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I love me some Rams football. And again, like I said earlier, I went to the University of Oklahoma, so Sam Bradford's my boy. But I don't know that they're gonna be winning anything anytime soon. And you know, I have to be honest, I haven't really followed the Cardinals that much this year, because I find the more and the deeper I get into hockey, the less I pay attention to everything else. But yeah, I think we would be next.
All right, so finally, you know, lastly, and kind of closing, my regular show, the show I host is the College Sports Show. So, tell me, Oklahoma, your Sooners are. Right now, they're looking pretty. They could be the best team in the country. You agreeing with that? You pulling for them or what?
Well, obviously, yes. I'm pulling for them. Best team in the country? I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it, and I will yell and scream Boomer Sooner until I die, and that's fine. But I don't know. I mean, you always have your Ohio States. You always have your, you know, all your SEC teams and stuff like that. But it should be interesting to see with, you know, the Big 12 now being 10 teams, Big 10 now being 12 teams. It should be interesting. I'm really excited for the football season.
Jennifer, honestly, real fun talking to you. Thanks so much for taking the time out. Really appreciate it. We'll have you again on very soon, especially with the season obviously coming up, you know, in the distance, but it's coming faster and closer every single day.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Awesome.
It's gonna be fun.
Really cool stuff. Thanks so much. All right, Bleedin Blue, guys. We know Jennifer's not only Bleedin Blue, but she's also, well, bleeding some other colors for, well, she's got to love her Sooners as well. So, all right, great stuff. Big thanks to Jennifer Metzer for taking time out of the day to join us on the show. But you know, we got to take a very quick break. Coming up in a few seconds, we're going to have our man Sam Brilski on the line, talking a little fantasy and reality. That's coming your way here on Sports Buzz.